Hey guys, what's going on? XX Ventricle here. Sorry I haven't posted in a little bit. Just haven't really got any good gameplay. In fact, I just got this gameplay about an hour ago, and I'm using the PP09, whatever you want to call it, PP90, PP. And I'm going ham. Going ham with this almost triple in the beginning, but that's obviously not what I wanted to talk about, considering the title of this video. So I'm just going to give you some quick tips of how to do well in school. And I know that you probably haven't seen videos like this before, and you might get uninterested, but please stay, because there's some of the easiest tips you can possibly use, and some of you might not know, so let's go right into it. And that is with homework and class assignments. Homework and class assignments, believe it or not, are also a still big part of your grade. So if you do well on all your tests and you you occasionally don't do your homework and don't do your classwork, don't be surprised if you have a C or a D in a class. It's not that hard to do the homework, really. I say put your homework in front of all your other so-called priorities. Like, for me, I always put my homework in front of my gaming, especially studies, depending on what the studies are. Like that day, which is going to be tomorrow, but I'm not going to have to make a video because I'm trying to make one every other day. But history is a very difficult subject for me, so I have to take the entire day to study, as well as a couple days before. But I'm getting a little off topic here, and so definitely class assignments and homework are also a big part of your grade, so do not act like tests can carry you. Also, don't act like homework assignments and class assignments can carry you as well. Although, if you do all your classwork and all your homework and you get B's and C's on your tests, don't be surprised if you have an A in the class, because if you're giving your 100% effort and the teacher sees that in your classwork and your homework, then they'll be a little more lenient on you with their grades. I'm not sure what it is for most teachers, but most of the teachers at my school have the homework at classwork at about 10% of your grade, homework at about 20%, quizzes at about 50%, and tests at about 75%. What channels that guy using? Leave me in the comments. I want to know. So that was the first quick tip. Next quick tip is Next quick tip. Sorry, I'm just so ADHD right now. Next quick tip is the next quick tip. I just said that about 3 times. Is actually it's a pretty odd tip, but in a way it somewhat helps. Is to develop a healthy relationship with your teachers. I know this is a little bit of a problem in public school just because there is so many students, but private school it's not really a big deal. But even in public school, just make sure you're constantly doing your homework. You're constantly sharing things with the class that are necessary, not blurting out, and make sure that you're not making teachers hate you. And this next quick tip is actually a very important quick tip. And I'm not so much a promoter of laziness, but if you are a somewhat lazy person, then I recommend this next tip for you. And once again, I do not promote laziness with this next tip, but it could be very helpful to some of you. When you are in a class where it particularly bores the living crap out of you, and you're just like, okay, I'm done with this class, I do not want to pay attention. Something that will, it's a nice little tip, is to actually make sure to participate in the classroom 1 or 2 times, and then zone out. Because if you completely zone out the entire class period, that easily shows to the teacher that you don't care about their class. So you're definitely going to want to participate before you zone out, and definitely don't zone out in the beginning of a class period as soon as you get in there, because that's just a bad news badger. And my final quick tip for school is to make sure you study. I cannot stress this enough. No matter how boring the class is, you need to study. Studying is probably one of the most boring things ever. But develop a way to study certain things that that helps you. And I have a little way that I do things that helps me a lot in different ways. For language arts, we have vocab tests. Kind of childish, not gonna lie, how to spell and define words, but it's definitely a useful skill. So in that way, it's good. But vocab, all I do is takes me about 15 minutes, and I normally get A's on every single one of my vocab tests. And basically what you have to do, or what I do, is that I take the first word, and I say the spelling, and I spell it out, and I say the definition a couple times until it's in my head. Then I do the second word, I repeat the second word a couple times with the spelling, and then I go back to the first word, and do the second word, and this goes on and on and on with all the words until I've gotten to the last word, and I could recite all of them from first to last with all the spelling and all the definitions. Easy way to get your studying out of the way quick, definitely. If you guys are into quick studying, it helps me remember a lot, especially, like, you know, it helps me a lot, so it's definitely a quick tip. Math, I don't really study for, but a way to do good on math tests is to make sure, that's one of the classes you do have to pay attention in, because math is not one of those subjects that you study in. It's just, you need to get, I want to say the act down of it, because math is all about doing, not remembering. So you're gonna want to know and make sure you know how to do everything. And it might not be a very entertaining thing to do, but take the book home if you need to. If you don't really understand it, go back to the book, do some examples, and ask your parents if the answers are right. And if you have messed up parents, well, then that sucks. Then go to school and ask your fellow friends if you're right. That was a gross burp. Like I said, history is one of the subjects that I struggle with. So what I do for history is actually kind of weird. I take all the study guides, and I love messing with computers. So I just take all the questions from the study guide, all the questions and answers, and I put them on. I just type it out on my computer, and I make my own little study guide. Except the answers are typed on there, and all the vocab, everything is combined into a stapled couple sheets of paper, rather than a bunch of loose paper that some of them don't even have anything to do with each other except for the fact of what they're trying to tell you. That's what I do for history. Science, just study those study guides if you get them, and read the book, because the book lies a lot of answers that could be helpful to you guys. And I know reading the book is really boring, but depending on your teacher, don't necessarily look for just the highlighted words, because that doesn't quite work all the time, trust me. When you rely on only the book, it is not good, or when you rely on only the highlighted words, it's not good, because sometimes the most important